I'm pleased to say I'm joined by the 5-time PDC title winner, Adam Hunt. Thanks for the time, Adam. How you doing?
Yeah, not bad, mate. Cheers, bro.
First of all, I've got to say, if I had a game of darts with my brother and he threw a 170 finish and a 9-darter against me, I don't think I'd be wanting to play him for a while. Has your brother Scott started speaking to you again yet?
To be fair, I think he was more happy than me for hitting that. Yeah, he was apparently he had his arms in the air, you know, when the first treble went in, and then he gave a massive cheer and a massive bug when I hit it. So yeah, it was nice to hit one. You know, fortunately it was against him, but yeah, it wasn't him.
Happy days. We've been playing in the PDC for 10 years now, but let's rewind back to the start for you. What are your earliest memories in darts, and what was it that made you catch the bug to play yourself?
I don't know. I mean, I've been playing since I was about 7 or 8 year old, I think, in the house. I mean, you know, my dad and my granddad used to play in the leagues and stuff, and I've always had a dartboard in our house. So yeah, I've played in the house since I was about 7 or 8 year old, and then I think it was my brother that seen a local youth competition time when we were open, 13 or 14, and I was starting it just to see how good I was, or test myself against people.
And I want to take you back to November 2010 in Barnsley. You played in the very first PDC Under-21 World Championship, now known as the World Youth Championship. You came through a Riley's qualifier to get into the event. What do you recall from that qualifier and then playing in the event?
Riley Sunderland, I think it was about 32 players. So I remember there's a couple of North East Youth Darts was really good back then. And there was a couple of names, and I was in the opposite half of the draw of them, so I thought I had a quite good chance to get through here. And I remember playing Michael was in the final, even though we were both through, was still finding out it was Gary Wood's son. Yeah, we both got through.
So going back to that first World Youth Championship, you lost out to Michael van Gerwen in a last leg decider in the last 32. In the start of 2011, you entered the first ever Q School at the age of 17, I think you were then. What was it that persuaded you to give it a go straight away?
Well, I've never actually played a video competition, and it was my brother actually. He was doing all right. Not Scott, who you've had on the show. It was David, my brother, my other brother, who's. I should probably just give it a go, just to see where my game's at and stuff. And he ended up playing for us and coming down with me. I can't remember much of it, to be fair. But obviously, it got us straight into the Pro Tour. I didn't get a tour card, but it wasn't as big as it was back then, so I got into pretty much every Pro Tour anyway. So yeah, it was a good experience, and that just kind of started from there.
Yeah, definitely. I was looking back at the results. You came very close on that final day, losing out in the final round. But as you say, you were able to get into quite a lot of the Pro Tours that year. And fair to say, you did pretty well that year, winning on the Youth Tour, what's now the Development Tour. Did you find those early experiences of the PDC?
Yeah, it was good. I mean, that was back when the Youth Tour was played on the same day as the Pro Tour. So the Pro Tour finished around, 5-6 o'clock, and the Youth would start, an hour after. So I was playing a full day of darts pretty much. It's a bit like what the Challenge Tour and Youth Tour is now. There's two events basically. So I remember the first ever one, which was at Derby. I played Andy Smith in the first round, and then about 6 hours later, I started the Youth Tour.
What memories stick out from that first year on the PDC Youth Tour? It was very new what the PDC were doing, but there was a lot of quality players there, the likes of yourself, Michael van Gerwen, Joe Cullen, Michael Smith, Ricky Evans, Dirk van Dijvenbode. The list goes on. There's a lot of quality in the field.
Yeah, it was. I mean, if you look at the players who were in the top 32 now, there was so many of them were back in the Youth Tour back then. And I was, I was pretty unknown, to be fair. It was only the people in the North East who knew who I was. And I just remember winning that first one, the first ever Youth Tour back in 2011 in Derby. That day I was out with Andy Smith there. It was a tough field. There was a couple of players missing. I don't think Van Gerwen and Michael Smith played it, but pretty much everyone else was in the field. Aaron Monk, Cullen, and things like that.
A few years later, you do get that tour card and make your mark on the Euro Tour, reaching a quarter-final in Gibraltar while still having success on the Development Tour at the same time. What did you learn most from those first 2 years as a tour card holder?
Just how hard it was, to be fair. It was quite hard to keep the tour card. I didn't realise how tough the Pro Tour was. Obviously, I knew it was going to be tough, but I didn't think it was going to be as tough as it was. And I had a couple of good runs here and there, but I never had any consistency. That run at the Euro Tour was a bit out of the blue, to be fair. I had a bit of luck that weekend as well, so it was just how difficult it was. Obviously, just trying to bring my game on a bit more.
And although you lost your card at the end of 2015, you still had the Challenge Tour, the Development Tour, and you made a lot of deep runs, winning some titles. How much did having those events to play and help build your confidence?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that was sort of the standard I think I was at the time. I think the pro, although I got my tour card, it was I probably wasn't ready for it. Maybe, I don't know, ability wise or mentally wise. And the Challenge Tour and the Youth Tour, that's what they're there for, aren't they? They're there to develop your game, and if you come off the tour, it's to get you back on in a couple of years or something like that. It really did help me. I played some great players on the Challenge Tour. Rob Cross was on there one year with us, Ryan Searle, who are doing really well now, and got me to where I am now.
And in 2018, you got back on the main tour via your success on the development tour, and at the end of the year, you come through 4 rounds to qualify for the World Championship for the first time. What were those 3 weeks like in the build-up to making your debut at Ali Pali?
Yeah, it was brilliant. I mean, the qualifiers was a brilliant day. My brother Scott was there with us, and it was just massive excitement. My family came down with us. My partner Danielle came down with us. It was just to make your debut at the World, it's a pretty special occasion.
12 months later, end of 2019, you lose out in the final round of the qualifiers and it's back to Q School, where it must be the most games someone's won at Q School without winning their tour card outright. Perhaps not now we've got the 2 stages that were brought in this year, but 18 games you won across the 4 days to top that UK order merit. What was the feeling like winning your tour card via Q School for the first time?
Yeah, that's when I thought I think it changed for me, because I realised I did it the hard way. I finished top of the points and things like that. I had to do it the proper way, and then I started believing a little bit more myself. I went into it pretty confident, even though I lost my tour card. I remember driving home after that World Qualifiers, and I had a chat with my brother Scott in the car, and I said, I'm ready for Q School now. Anyway, I'm not worried about it. I feel like I'm going to get through. So I think it was just even though I lost to my Edgar that day in that qualifier, I think I was ready to actually play and step up on the Pro Tour as well.
Fair to say 2020 didn't turn out to be the ideal year to have a tour card for your first year, but the last 3 months of last year, things seem to have really clicked for you. I want to pick out firstly that Euro Touring single thing and the 100 average to beat Damon Hector. It was only 1 win, but to perform like that on stage, that must have given you a lot of belief as well. Yeah,
that was sort of the start for us when I started playing well. That game against the 2 Euro Tours, I played pretty well. I think I lost out with Rob Cross that weekend, if I remember right. And I played well against him as well. But yeah, it was a great win against him, and I think he was probably the most informed player who wasn't a seed at the time, and to get him was a bit of a tough draw. But I played really well against him. And
the ball keeps rolling after that. A month later, you win through the Grand Slam qualifiers, and I've got to mention the game in the group stage with Joe Cullen. You had 300 plus finishes. Joe Cullen, he tops it with a 164 in the decider.
Yeah, it was a pretty good game, wasn't it? We started slow, both of us, and I think the last 3 or 4 legs were both kicked in, and if I don't mind losing if someone's playing that good. You hit a 12 dart to break my throw. You just got to hold your hand and say good dart. It was a great game of dart. It set us up for the game against Clemens as well.
Definitely, and the following month you're back at Ali Pali. You and Lisa Ashton serve up a cracker for us in the first round. You then get past Jamie Hughes, and a little unfortunate, it's got to be said, to average 97 and lose 4-0 in the next round to Dirk van Duijvenbode, but into the top 64 a year into your tour card. As you turned the page on 2020, what did you take away from your season?
Well, that was my sort of goal, to get in the top 64, and I didn't realise how much of a significance the back end of the year was. To be fair, that's the first time I really took into account how much the Players' Championships, the Grand Slam, the Worlds, all accounts to the early rankings. I made pretty much most of my money from the back end. So to do it all in 3 months, I realised, if I do this again, I can get myself up the rankings. So yeah, it was a good year, and I was happy.
Definitely, yeah, that is the main goal, isn't it, really? When players get that tour card, it is to be in that top 64 by the end of the 2 years. You're ahead of schedule with that. But what are your goals now as we get ready for the return of the Pro Tour next week? Have you got an eye on possibly qualifying for the World Matchplay?
Yeah, that's the main goal. I'm quite close, and I think I'm a couple of grand off getting in there. So, and there's a big pool of players who are around the 16 mark in the match play rankings. So we'll have a good 2 weeks. The 2 Pro Tours. Who knows? That's definitely my goal, though. Just getting the match play.
And on Twitter as well, some good banter before the first Super Series, posting up the picture of Real Madrid's ground while everyone else was posting pictures of Bolton's ground. But what is the best ground that you've actually been to?
Probably Old Wembley. I watched Scott play. He played in the national finals when he was under 11. I went to Old Wembley before it got knocked out. I think it was the second last game before it got knocked down that weekend. So that's probably the most famous ground I've been in.
Very nice. Well, speaking to your brother, he did mention that you did quit work before to go full-time with darts, and now you work part-time along with the darts. Do you feel like you've got the right balance for you between work and darts at the moment?
Yeah, definitely. It's financially, it's perfect. It just takes the pressure off the darts. My work are really good flexibility-wise. Obviously we're playing a lot of Monday to Friday events at the moment, so I've had quite a bit of time off work, and they've been great with that. And especially at the back end of last year when I was in TV events, every month they were pretty good as well with that. So I've got a good balance with work life, home life, and darts and everything. It just seems to be going well for us. Yeah.
Good to hear. And we had Scott on the show, as you mentioned, last year to talk about darts in the North East. Now things are opening up again. We know you played a local comp earlier this week. How much of a help has it been for your career so far to have that flourishing local scene to play in over the years?
Yeah, I've said it on I think in a few interviews how good the dart players are in the North East. There's so many good players who aren't really heard of, who are world class players. They just never really give it a go, and you're playing them week in, week out. When you're not at the Pro Tours, it's perfect match practice, and it's just brilliant pressure wise as well, because they all want to take you out and stuff. So it's good pressure, and it's perfect practice. Yeah.
Lastly, looking a bit further ahead, obviously past the next couple of Super Series and the World Matchplay, what are your main goals really for the rest of this year and beyond? What would you like to try and achieve?
I'm not too sure rankings wise. I haven't really got a goal set for where I want to be in the rankings, but if I could get back to the Grand Slam, I really enjoy that competition. It'd be great with the fans in as well this year. World Championships obviously is always the main goal for every player, I think, is to get there and have a good run. And if I do well, like I did at the back end of last year, I might get myself in the top 32. Who knows? But I'm just seeing how the next couple of weeks go in the Pro Tours, and hopefully getting the match play is my main goal at the moment.
Well, Adam, best of luck for the upcoming Super Series, the one after that, and your goal to get to the World Matchplay, and wish you all the best for the rest of the year.
Cheers, mate. Thank you very much. Cheers.